confidence, validation and credibility, along with an enhanced public profile and a morale booster for staff, are just some of the benefits nearly as important as the financial backing itself, says 2010 winner Biomatters. The biotech company based in Auckland has established a beachhead in the United States over the past 6 months, and by the end of this year, the company plans to have 4 East Coast-based sales and customer-focused staff members up and running.
Biomatters writes software for scientists. These scientists are typically molecular biologists doing research in disease, ecosystem management, or for universities who use the application for teaching their young biologists, anthropologists, and medical students about DNA analysis and research. Our flagship product is called Genius. Genius is used by research biologists as well as pharmaceutical companies to do in-depth research on diseases such as dengue fever. And by allowing these researchers to collaborate and share information electronically, this means that the real-time access to data, whether it be gathered in the field or the laboratory or shared within the pharmaceutical company, is available and essentially accelerates the research as well as the drug development in this field. We've had greater than 100% compounding revenue growth each year for the past 4 years. We now have paying customers in more than 67 countries across 22,000 end users, and are up to around about 1,000 universities that use our software for teaching their biologists and graduate science students globally. I guess I knew we were onto something when I was visiting New York City a couple of years ago and at the Columbia University Research Labs, when they said they couldn't meet with us right then and there, but if we could wait half an hour, they were having a crisis on their hands. So standing there in the lab looking around, I saw our application running on multiple monitors and realized something was going on. The head of their science department then came up to me and shook my hand and said, "We've just been notified that swine flu has hit the United States. Our lab has been asked to provide all of the validation testing for the swine flu cases for the United States, Argentina, Mexico, and a host of other countries. Is it okay if we use your software to standardize on this validation testing going forward?" So of course I said yes, and if there was anything else that we could do to help, then we'd be pleased to do so. I think the core benefit for us having won the challenge was primarily in the media exposure that we got immediately after winning. And because the vast majority of our shareholders are New Zealanders, it was fantastic for them to see a company that they had invested in as angel investors doing really well and being recognized on that stage. Secondly, from a financial point of view, it's helped us to de-risk our plan for expansion and for growth, and given us the confidence to take those early steps into new markets, which has been a little bit scary, but it's something that we knew we had to do, and with the backing of the University of Auckland, it's really enabled us to grow and to exceed our own expectations. So a key to our success in terms of developing the software here in New Zealand is that we've got fantastic access to tremendous brain power, and the vast majority of our developers come straight from the University of Auckland, just up the hill from us. And the focus on bioinformatics and the combination of biology and computer science has been an asset. We also have some of the best brains and the brightest research talent globally sitting here in this office, which is very special. My advice to any company thinking about entering the challenge is to give it a go, and the benefits are numerous. Apart from the association with the school, the money, and the media exposure, it's a fantastic feeling for the company when you do win.
Since winning the challenge, Greentide has increased its production base and optimized its novel and naturally derived insecticidal and fungicidal metabolites. The company is now heavily focused on product development into overseas markets, particularly into the United States. Greentide has widened the host range and scope of products, with new markets opening up in home and garden, as well as turf sectors, in conjunction with other progressive Kiwi companies.
Greentide is a bioagritech company, and we're passionate about removing toxic pesticides from the food chain. There's two warring factions. On one side there's the public who doesn't want toxic pesticides in the food chain anymore, and on the other side is the growers who say they can only use pesticides to get economically sustainable yields. So Green Tide is the bridge in the middle. We're developing reliable technology for growers to ensure that the customers are satisfied and the growers are achieving what they want to do, which is reliable control. We've developed a range of indigenous fungi in New Zealand that eat insects. And all of our products are organically certified because the fungi have no toxicity to humans, and they've been in the environment for billions of years. So they've co-evolved with insects and they've co-evolved with human beings. So what happens is the fungi grab hold of an insect, punch a hole through the side of it, put a root system in like a plant, and then consume it as a food source. And it has absolutely no toxicity to the environment. Since winning the challenge, we have expanded our production base. We've spent over $2.5 million to do that. To be honest, without winning the challenge and getting the money from that, we wouldn't have been able to buy our bioreactor, and our bioreactor is the most critical thing to be able to increase our production base. We've developed a fantastic relationship with the business school. We've opened Chiasma, we've had MBA students here do a thesis. They've clearly given us a direction to our board that we establish a beachhead in California, and we're following that like a Bible. And we're currently negotiating to get an MBE student here, so we're very, very happy and thrilled with the relationship we've established.
Winning the Entrepreneurs Challenge spurred Piarco gourmet yogurt to become a global presence much faster than they ever anticipated. Within 2 years, there's a very real chance that the domestic market will account for less than 10% of Piarco's sales. This means that a great product backed by talented Kiwis can essentially take on the world without intimidation and succeed, despite having humble beginnings and a shoestring budget.
Piarco gourmet yogurt makes the world's best thick and sweetened Greek yogurt. It started as an enterprise at my mum's kitchen at home, and it's since grown to basically own the specialty stores in New Zealand with the sales of gourmet yogurt. We've branched out into frozen yogurt muesli cups. Our frozen yogurt just won an award with Cuisine, one of the finalists of the Product of the Year award. And we've now also got our small operation in Norwich, which has started 2 weeks ago, and they're already showing fantastic potential. It's been a really massive year for us. We've sort of taken our company with the impetus of the challenge and the confidence that's given us from being a small gourmet producer to now being on the verge of a decent sized, substantial contributor to the New Zealand economy. Since winning the challenge, I think it's definitely going to be the biggest year this company's ever going to have, one way or the other. We signed a distribution deal with Fonterra that kicked off in April, so that's managed to take us nationwide into supermarkets, and just with a level of marketing and support that a small company like ours couldn't replicate. And obviously about the same time we got the factory in Norwich up and running. That's opened up a $1.5 billion domestic market, and you can also export into the EU from there. We really genuinely think we might have undersold our factory size. We should have doubled it already, we're thinking. So we're already talking about our next phase of expansion. Oh look, the Auckland Uni Business School's been absolutely phenomenal. I've probably spent more time involved with them than I did with the Dunedin one, and I spent 4 years doing a BCom. There's been things like we had interns working for us over summer from there. We've had opportunities to judge case studies. There's been mentoring opportunities. And the networking opportunities and doors that have opened just through those contacts and the surrounding publicity have been ongoing, to the extent where my wife is absolutely sick of seeing me in magazines and on TV and won't watch it anymore. So it's been fantastic. Well, we had a very definite idea of what we wanted to achieve when we started this and where we wanted to get to. We're sort of at the end of phase one now, that development phase of being a struggling small business. And entering phase two. We've achieved this a lot quicker than we thought we would. So now it's really about going into that sort of stable, maturing growth phase for a business, contributing to the New Zealand economy, bringing some dollars back in from overseas, and still being small enough to take advantage of any opportunities that present themselves. If you're really considering entering the challenge, don't consider it, just do it. It was a catalyst for us to probably get into the UK 2 years quicker than we thought we would be. It made us stand back and have a good look at our business, take a snapshot of where we were, and then feed that information to some people who really know what they're talking about in regards to these things. That's on the back end. Then on the front end, if you are successful, or even if you're not, the opportunities and the amount of times your phone rings because of it is genuinely phenomenal.